Welcome everybody, an Aerosmith, just classic. I actually thought I did this and was just in the mood to jam something off the first album, and lo and behold, here we are. I haven't done this, so I've written everything out for you. So my notes, as always, will right below the video. You can click on the link and download the tab for yourself. We're in normal tuning, so standard tuning, and very approachable song. So the song starts out kind of with a boogie-woogie feel, but there's a real nuance to it. We're going to start out hitting the E twice, and then we'll add our fourth finger down on the fifth string for an E6. And we're going to do that 2 hits on E, 1 E6. Then we stop. Then it's one of each. And there's no stopping after the one of each, because we go back to 2 of the E, 1 of the E6. So together, the 1 and then the 2 E's and E6 will sound like this. So it's harder to show. Again, if you follow my notes and take it slow, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right after we hit that E6, the third time, we go to the second fret of the 6th string. And again, there's just an ever so slight pause. Then we're going to hit it again, and then we're going to go to the 3rd fret of the 6th string, hit that twice, and then the 4th fret and hit that twice. So, all together, this first half of the intro will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat it. Third time, he only hits the 3, 4 once. And he'll reprise the intro and do the same thing, but it's only during the intro. And again, it's the 3rd time of playing the intro lick. He just hits. So no no hitting the 3rd fret twice or the 4th fret twice. So let's take it from the 3rd and then finish up with one more half measure of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go into the verse. All right, so that's a little nuance of the intro. 3rd time you play that lick, you just hold the 3 and then hold the 4. Then we're into the verse. Now the verse has the first 2 licks, or the first measure of the intro. We're going to do that a couple times in the first measure and then the second measure. But we got a little chords before that and a little lick that takes us into it. So we're going to do an A power chord. We'll count 4, and there's no strumming. It's really just hitting the A power chord. We're going to do 2 counts of 4, and then one more time on the A power chord, but only a count of 2. So we'll have this. And then he goes into a little lick that leads us into the. So that lick that leads us into, after we hit the 3rd A power chord, 2 count, we're just going to hit the open 6th string to the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and then repeat that. And then right into our E lick. right, so we do that twice like we did just there, and then we are into the actual chorus. So this chorus 1 is really, it's shortened. It's not quite the full chorus that they do the rest of the song. So what we're doing is we're going to go from an F sharp with our pinky adding the 6th to it, and then move up with the 6th fret A power chord and add the 6th to it with our pinky. So we have this. Now the count is 2 hits on the F sharp and then your pinky for 1. There's no... It's just simple. So you'll hear that once you get that going. So we do 4 times with the F sharp and 4 times with the A. And then it's 3 hits on an E power chord. So he hits it twice, stops, and then hits it again. And then we reprise the intro. And we're into verse 2. Verse 2 is exactly what we learned. And then we go into chorus 2. All right, I'm going to do chorus 2, and I'm going to flow right into the bridge, because the bridge, you'll see it starts on the E power chord, but it just flows really well together. So once you see it, we'll go over it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doing F sharp with our pinky, 2 counts, 1 with the pinky. And you notice sometimes he holds the pinky down and then sometimes he pulls it right off. It doesn't matter which way he's doing it, whether holding the pinky down or not. It's still 2 hits on the main chord and then our pinky. All right, so then we move up to our A, to F sharp, to G for half measure. So really 2 pinkies down, then up to a B, and then the bridge. Now the bridge is really nice. We're going to go into an E power chord, hold that for 4 counts, and then 2 hits on D. Then we move down to an A power chord, and a little walk down to an E power chord from the 3rd fret of the 6th string to the 2nd, and then that power chord. All right, so we have this. And he will actually repeat that. Then we are into, I'm calling it the pre-solo, because it's the solo rhythm, but there's no solo played with it. The pre-solo, like I said, there is actually no solo over this half measure, but it's the solo rhythm. So we're going to do this half measure, and then this rhythm will repeat 6 more times, as I've written it out for 3 measures. And then we come back in with our little lick there, but it comes in at a certain point, so we'll discuss that also. But the pre-chorus is different from what we've done to this point. So what we're doing, a similar intro lick. Alright, so there's a little more added to it, some subtracted. So we're going to do the first half of our E lick. We're going to hit twice, then the 6th, stop, and then go 2, 4, but hold that 4. we go to a D power chord. We're going to hit that once, twice, let that ring for a couple counts, and then 2 quick up, down. Then that leads us to a 2 count A power chord. And then our walk down to E, but the E will be 3 times. 2 quick, 1 slow. So let me do the whole thing slowly for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it repeats. And like I said, the solo will start, it's 3 measures long, same as the rhythm. And then we come back in. So after our 3rd time of playing this rhythm, we come back into our intro style lick, all right? But he comes in from the 4 at the end of it. All right, so let me take it from the very last half measure of the solo rhythm, and then we'll come in to the post solo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so after coming in from the 4, we go right to our 2 on the 6th string twice, with a little pause, and then 2 on the 3rd fret and 4th fret of that 6th string, and then continue that rhythm. Now that rhythm will actually repeat 3 more times. So it's like we come in on the first one, and then we'll repeat it 3 more times. Of course, we'll do it 2 more. There's no pause there. We're done with the intro where we pause the 3 and 4. All right, and then we are to verse 3. Now, verse 3 is like all the other verses. We're going to do our A power chord, 3 hits, the 3rd one, cut short, and then we do our little lick into the actual E chord. And then we are into chorus 3, which takes us to the outro. Think of it as 2 choruses. I wrote it out as chorus 3 and 4. And there's like a crescendo lick, not lick, but chord that builds up until the next chorus 4, and then the song is over. With, well, I should say, and then another crescendo and the song ends. So 3 and 4 are really our choruses out. So chorus 3 into our first crescendo is just like chorus 2. We're going to do the F sharp to A, G half measure to B half measure, 6th root, and then our crescendo is just going to be an E power chord. And then we go into chorus 4. Now we're going to go into chorus 4. Of course, they change it up slightly. The difference is we're going to do the F sharp 3 times. The 4th time we're going to do a walk up to our A. Alright, so it'll start out like this. So what we're doing is once we walk up to A, we go to G, we go to B. After B, we're going to start crescendoing or bringing the volume up as we play it on a C power chord. And this is slightly longer than the E. Maybe instead of 8 counts, it might be 12 counts, and then we go and end on a 6th power chord just with the 6th, and 5th string. And that's the rhythm. So we'll go over the solo next. The cool thing about the solo is each measure repeats. So I'm going to do the first measure of the solo and I'll show you what we're doing. And you'll notice a little tone change also. Alright, so what we're doing there is basically we start out with the bridge pickup. And we're going to do a little 14 on the 3rd string and 15 on the 2nd, strike together, but we're going to bend up 14 and then release it. And as we release it, we'll hit it again and then bend it up and then release it. Think of Back in the Saddle. It's kind of like that, you know, train horn or whatever kind of rhythm, but the second one does release. And then we're going to hit them unbent twice. And he's just holding them. And then I think he switches to the middle pickup because it becomes a bit more bassy, mid-rangey. What we're going to do at that point is a little different lick. We're going to hit on the 3rd string from 12 to 13 and then hybrid pick 12 on the 1st string. Then we come back to the 12 on the 3rd string and slide that up to 14 after striking it. And then we're going to hit 14 on the 1st string after we get to 14 on the 3rd. Then we'll hit 14 on the 3rd again, sliding up to 16. And when we get to 16, we'll pluck 16 on the 1st string. Then we pluck the 16 on the 3rd and 1st string together. And slide down. Let's take it from the beginning. We'll do it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that whole thing repeats. Now I'm going to repeat it without changing the pickup selector. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next lick really kind of speaks to where we're at with this solo. It's the E natural minor scale, or E Aeolian. We've left off at the 2/16. Slide down, then we do this. Alright, so what we're doing there is we're going to do part of this scale, hitting the E note on the 1st string, 12th fret, then we jump to the 11th fret of the 3rd string, with a slight bend down. And release, and then we grab 14 on the 4th string. Alright. Then we do a double stop here at the 14th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string, and both are bent. And we're going to do it again, but the bend is a slow release then. And then we hit 12 on both those strings. Point, we're going to do a little chromatic run from the 15th fret of the 2nd string, 14, 13, 12. Then we hit 12 again and go 14, 15. So we have this. To 12 on the 1st string, and then we're going to hit 14, and as we hit it, we're going to catch 14 on the 2nd string. Alright. So we have this. And that lick repeats exactly the same. Now, the next set of licks aren't identical. They're slightly different, similar but slightly different. All right, we'll go over what's different about them, but basically the lick repeats. All right, I'm going to do the next two as I've written it out, measures, and then this, like I said, kind of repeats. But let's go through it. First one. All right, so we start out, we're hitting 14 bent and then hitting 14 unbent. This first measure does that one time and then two more. Then two more. Then a quick da-da-da. So it's a bent, unbent, and then bent. So we have this. First one, and then two more, then this quick one. That extra one at the beginning, the way I'm emphasizing it, is not done the second time. So that's the difference. You could almost consider it part of the previous measure, but because it's so similar, I just included it. So we've got three of those before we do the quick one. Then we're going to do it twice and then the quick one. Then we're going to do it twice and then a bend and release and pull off to 12, coming back to 12 on 14. I'm sorry, 14 on this first string, back to 12. Then we go to the second string, 14 pulled off to 12. To the third string, we're going to grab 12 and slide to 11. And then we go 14 to 12. There's not a pull-off there. I think I did a pull-off when I showed you the lick, but it's not a pull-off. All right, so we have this to end it. Then, the second time, like I said, we're not going to do that very first quick one. We'll just do two and then the quick up and down. Another time. And then two of these before bend, release, and pull off, and the rest of the lick. Now, as we get to 14 here, you'll hear the band come in. I'm not quite sure that he ends on 12. It might be in the mix. It seems like it should be. But again, that is the final quote-unquote two licks. So why don't we do them both together? What the heck? We'll start with the extra. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why don't we do both those together and you'll get a feel for how everything goes. Start with that extra. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is the solo. So my notes are below. I hope this helps everybody. It's such a great song. It's funny, my neighbor recognized it and texted me. She's like, I was just playing that album in my car. It sounds great. So there you go. I hope everybody enjoys.